Hey, it's Pizza Dude Man back with more subscriber questions. Our first question today comes from Lord Genesect. Who is your favorite bug-type Pokemon? Heracross. Ridley Crade 187 asks, top 5 fusions you'd like to see on Steven Universe. Steven and Garnet, Steven and Pearl, Garnet and Peridot, Lapis and Peridot, and then Steven with other humans, like we've seen with Connie, but with other human people, like maybe Onion, Steven and Onion. Musumania27 asks, remember Sansan from MVC2? If you were given the task of developing a standalone game for her character, what genre would it be and what kind of universe would you give the game? Well, Sansan from MVC2 is actually based on an older Capcom game called Sansan that was a platformer, a very arcade-style platformer, but I would want to give MVC2 Sansan a full-blown platforming adventure with a universe and references and characters based on Journey to the West, which the original Sansan was based off of. Internal Inferno asks, do you watch epic rap battles of history? If so, what's your favorite battle? I've only seen the odd episode here and there. Of the ones I've seen, my favorite has been Gandhi versus Martin Luther King. The Smashmaster 9000 asks, what do you think of the to-be-continued meme from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Still funny or tired out? I think it's still funny. I think at this point it's kind of become an expectation for that to happen. I think it's funny. Super Mario Fan 03 asks, do you believe Banjo-Kazooie would have a chance in Smash 5 since Phil Spencer wouldn't mind them in a Smash Brothers game? I still think the chances are pretty low. I think more than like the first or second party Nintendo characters, the addition of third party characters, you do have to think about the business aspect of it. Because like even when they added Snake, I mean Konami had made Metal Gear games for Nintendo and had the possibility of doing it in the future, so it was not completely out of the question. But like Banjo-Kazooie, they would just be advertising a purely Microsoft character at this point, with no chance of having Banjo-Kazooie come in. So it would be purely for fan service, and maybe they do it for that reason, but it seems less likely to me. I hope I'm wrong. Classy Polar asks, how would you feel if F-Zero and Earthbound got new games? Honestly, I'm a little lackluster on F-Zero. Like, I like F-Zero, but every time I think about it, I really do think I'd rather just play Mario Kart. I think I have way more fun with that game. I know that's kind of a crappy thing to say, because like I do like F-Zero, and I like the characters from F-Zero, but maybe it's not so bad that Mario Kart's kind of Nintendo's big focus racing game. As for Earthbound, I'd love to see a continuation of Earthbound. I think every entry in the Mother series is a brilliant piece of art, so I'd love to see more Earthbound games. Admiral N30 asks, do you think they will replace Pikachu's Final Smash with a Z move in the next Smash game? You know, I hadn't really thought about it. It's possible. It seems so random sometimes. Like, they replaced some characters' Final Smashes, like Luigi's, but others they didn't bother, like Peach. So, I'm really not sure what their criteria is on that. All I can say about that is it's very possible. Smash Bros. 2009 asks, in subsequent Smash games, which character changes from clone to semi-clone did you like the most? I guess I'd have to say Ganondorf, simply because I think he needed it the most. Ultracrafter asks, if you could come up with a new type of attack for every character in Smash Bros., what would it be? So the newer idea I had on that is if everybody had 2 different Final Smashes, what I've been calling a Blast Final Smash and a Transformation Final Smash. So like, you know, some characters transform into alternate beings, like, you know, Yoshi's Super Dragon form and Sonic Super Sonic, and other characters just do one big attack, like Mario. So my idea was that everybody has both. And you get to choose your Final Smash. Do you do one giant attack that might kill everybody or have some other special effect, or do you transform into something and fight yourself? You get both options. That's the new idea I had on that. Bobby Lopez asks, do you do any PC gaming? Not much, not really. Doing the video stuff takes up a lot of space in my computer, and I've had issues before on my old laptop with like filling up so much video stuff on my computer that it gets all buggy, so I'm always very wary of adding more things to my computer. Overly cautious, to be honest. Zenora asks, are there any shows or movies that you're currently interested in watching? Rosie and I are currently already watching Gotham because we never saw it before, and I think we want to catch up on all those other superhero-based shows, the Marvel ones, like Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. We've seen a little bit of them, but we want to watch the whole thing. Chicken Crispies asks, do you think more video games should receive animated series? I think it really has to fit the video game. Like, I think the video games that are going to make the best animated series are ones that already have a strong narrative and are very story-driven, but at the same time, since those video games are already so story-driven, you already know all the plots and twists and stuff, so it's kind of a double-edged sword thing. I think you need something with a strong narrative where there is still enough that you can embellish to make up your own stories within it without people getting upset. So I think a lot of adventure games won't necessarily make great animated series since they often have silent protagonists or very basic bare-bones stories in the first place. Macdacong asks, how is the next subscriber questions coming? Does that mean this current one right now? I wound up not doing it last week like I originally planned because I was too sick. Big Boss Man 538 asks, do you think teachers should be nice regardless of grade level? I think as a teacher, you need to have whatever attitude is going to get your kids to work the hardest, and that's going to vary from time to time. Generally, I do try to be nice, but if kids are overstepping their boundaries or taking advantage of my niceness, I can't be nice anymore. I have to, buckle them down and be, hey, look, you got to do work in this class. It's not just a playtime, it is time to learn these songs and learn this music. So I'm not always nice, I'm generally nice, but you've got to be able to read the situation and switch your attitude to whatever it needs to be to help your students learn the best. And if that's being mean more often, then that's what it is. 8-Bit Die asks, is it difficult to balance your teacher duties with being a YouTuber? In some ways, yes, it's very, very busy. Last year, I wound up taking, I think, like a 4 or 5 month hiatus from YouTube because I just felt too busy with teacher work. The way that I'm dealing with that now is I've pre-recorded so much stuff over my summer break that I don't have to rush to record as much. So I think there is a kind of a balance for it because there are a lot of duties to do as a teacher, but you do get summer break and you do get weekends off consistently. So there's time for it. But I mean, if I took on anything else, I don't think I'd have time for it. Like, for instance, it's generally accepted that a music teacher should be involved in their music community by performing on their instrument or singing in local groups, and I just don't because I prioritize my YouTubing career. And I also don't have any kids of my own yet. If Rosie and I do have kids, that's going to take up too much time where, we're either going to have to find even better ways to schedule our schedules or figure something out. We haven't planned that far ahead yet. Here's another question from Lord Genesect. Which video game villain do you think has the best evil laugh? I'm going to say Kefka from Final Fantasy. Ridley Crade asks, if Ridley became playable in SSB5 but he was a clone of Ryu, how would you feel? Would you be more happy because Ridley's finally against all odds playable, or would you be more upset that he isn't being represented in the best and most accurate way? Honestly, between the two options, I think I'd be happier that Ridley's in the game, because the thing I care about the most in that situation is that we're putting the right characters in. We're putting the characters that really represent, hey, these are Nintendo's big all-star characters, and you're getting to fight each other with them. I think it'd be kind of hypocritical for me to say that I think I would be more upset that Ridley's not being portrayed accurately. I would be upset by that. But at the same time, even though I make fun of it a lot, I can at least accept Ganondorf as he's in the game. And at the same time, I already am advocating for a Ridley that's a little smaller than how he's usually accurately portrayed. So I think it'd be a little hypocritical for me to turn around and say, oh, but if his moveset's not right, he shouldn't be in there. I would definitely be upset, but I would still be happier that he's in the game. And I know not everyone's going to feel that way. There's a lot of people who are going to disagree with me on that stance. Musamania asks, what are your thoughts on the complaints about fictional characters not having realistic body types? At face value, what I would say is that it's a fictional character, so if it doesn't have a realistic body type, that shouldn't make a difference in the first place, because it is fictional. On the other hand, though, I do get annoyed, and I think people do have a point, when you're looking at a show or a series of shows of the same genre, and all the characters have the same non-realistic body type. Like, if you're gonna have bodies and people in your show, it should, I think, be a variety of people, because that's what we have, is we have a variety of people. I mean, I guess you can make a world where everybody has the same face and body, but, I mean, that just seems kind of boring to me in the first place. Smash Brothers 2009 asks, do you think Apollo Justice is the weakest in the main series of Ace Attorney, like many fans would say? You know, it's really funny because I liked Apollo Justice, but if I have to compare it to all the other Ace Attorney games and be asked which one's the weakest, it might be. I think comparatively, for me, Dual Destinies and Justice for All are also contenders, but Apollo Justice might be the weakest. Classy Polar asks, do you play any Harvest Moon games, and who is your favorite bachelorette from Harvest Moon? The only Harvest Moon game I've played myself is Wonderful Life for GameCube. I saw a bit of Harvest Moon 64, but I never owned it, but I remembered it. I was like, oh yeah, that Harvest Moon game looked really cool. So I got Wonderful Life. I wound up not playing it that much, actually, though. But my favorite bachelorette from that version was Nami. Ultracrafter asks, if you could add a Let's Player into Smash, who would it be, and what moveset, Final Smash, and victory theme would they have? I would add a new Ice Climbers type character called Game Grumps, and it's just Aaron and Danny, and their moveset is built up of jokes and references and games that they've played on Game Grumps. Their Final Smash would be turning the stage into a giant pachinko machine, and all the characters fall down it, and it's completely up to luck whether they live or die. And the victory theme would just be the Game Grumps theme, would just be ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Chicken Crispies asks, do you think a dungeon designer mode sounds like an interesting idea for a future Zelda game? Well, yeah, that sounds to me like The Legend of Zelda Maker, or like Super Mario Maker. And I think that'd be awesome. You could have it in like traditional Zelda style, Link to the Past style, Fountain Hourglass Spirit Track style, Four Swords style. I think you could do a lot with that, and it would be really fun. 8-Bit Die asks, do you prefer Super Smash Flash 2 or Super Smash Bros. Crusade? Ultimately, Smash Flash 2. Ridley Crate asks, if you were in the Melee development and had to choose between adding Falkendorf to have Ganondorf on the roster or denying him and leaving us with no Ganondorf, which would you have gone with? I would have gone with the Falkendorf. You know, it's funny now because I make fun of it so much, but if I had to choose between not having Ganondorf at all and having a Ganondorf that was a clone, I'd go with the clone Ganondorf. Smash Bros. 2009 asks, are you good at cooking? I would say no. I know how to follow a recipe, and when I do it, it usually turns out right, but I'm so inexperienced at cooking that it takes me forever. Like, making a meal takes hours and for me, because I just don't know what to do unless I'm reading absolutely every step. But I have never cooked something that was terrible. And here's another one from Classy Polar. Do you know any famous people with the same birthday as you? Tim Allen and the Olsen twins. I know they have the same birthday as me, but I've never met them. Here's another one from Ridley Crade. Christian Bale, George Clooney, Michael Keaton, or Ben Affleck. Who is the best Batman? In my opinion, Michael Keaton. And our last question is another one from Ridley Crade. What was the last question you answered, and what was your answer? Well, it was your own question on who the best Batman was, and the answer was Michael Keaton. And with that, that's every question we had last time, so I will see you guys next week, hopefully, for a new subscriber questions. I'm trying to get them every chance I get. Oh, and also, for whom it may concern, next weekend I'm going to be at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. It's actually going to be my first convention ever, and Rosie's first convention ever, so if you happen to be there, you might see me. And with that, I'll see you next week for subscriber questions at least. See you then.